Hey, welcome to the Kick, a Runner's Podcast special edition. Today we are live watching the BU Valentine Invitational. I am a former student athlete at BU, as you can see behind me. I ran for 5 years there, and this is the first time in the last 5 years that I haven't been at the meet as a student athlete. So what's the next best thing? Going live, watching it, commentating, going to bring the energy here. I see we already have some viewers tuning in. We've got Ronnie Maleo, who is a former guest here on the Kick, a Runner's Podcast. He was episode 2, so if you haven't heard that one, definitely go check it out. But we are getting into some really elite races here at BU. I'm watching the live stream, so you don't have to, or you can if you want, and just mute it and listen to my commentary if that's what you prefer. But it is at the portion of the meet now where it is paid. You've got to have a subscription to watch this. So why not join here at the Kick and listen along, follow along for free and have a great time. And like I said, I don't think there's very many BU grads who are commentating this one. And BU has a special place in my heart. This track here, I ran thousands of laps around this track, probably thousands of miles too. But yeah, workouts, races, I know it pretty well. So we are going to have some very exciting elite races coming up here soon. I know a lot of people are excited about seeing the showdown in the 3K with Marco Langen, Gary Martin, and others. We're going to see that. We're going to bring the energy and very excited to follow along with you guys. Keep the live chat going. This is the first time the Kick has ever been live, so if you're viewing right now, you are a part of history. We've got Ronnie in the chat. He's saying I have a nice haircut. I appreciate that. I thought it was funny because in the latest episode of The Kick, it was my first time showcasing this new haircut, and a lot of people wrote me messages, and it was funny because the previous episode I had a lot of hair. Now it's down to this. But I'm glad that you approve of the haircut, and I like it. I feel a lot more clean, and the hair's out of my eyes, so yeah, it's nice. All right, so we are 4 laps to go right now in the final heat of the mile. After this, we're going to get into some super elite long distance events, 3K and 5K. Right now, it looks like a very competitive race here in the mile, but we are going to wait until some of the longer distance events to really get into the commentating. So feel free to share this link with all of your friends who love track and field. We're going to have a great time here and really appreciate anybody who is tuned in. We've got a comment in the live chat. I heard Danny Jutris ran a Stevens school record this morning at BU. He did. Shout out to the Duck, Danny Jutris, running a blazing fast school record in, I believe it was the mile. Yeah, congrats to him. So shout out Danny. Maybe Danny can hop in the live stream here, but I think he's probably still at the facility and is going to be able to watch it in person, which of course is preferred. It was the 800 that Danny set the school record in. Okay. Yes, he's a great mid-distance runner. He's actually born and raised in Massachusetts, so being able to set a school record, lifetime best in his home state, pretty exciting. And where better to do it than the fastest track in the world at Boston University. 1:53 was his time. That's awesome. I think they actually say that the ideal pace to run on the Boston University indoor track is 27 seconds per lap. So that does cater well to the men's 800, because that's pretty much what you would want to be running, ideally, if you want to be running super, super fast. All right, so the final heat of the men's mile just finished up. It looks like we got 2 sub 4-minute miles in that one. Super impressive. BU is the place to go if you're on that cusp of breaking 4 minutes in the mile, or if you're just looking to set a PR. But yeah, thanks for joining the live watch party here. Feel free to participate in the live chat. Ronnie has been carrying thus far. Absolutely love it. If you haven't listened to Ronnie's episode where he's a guest on the Kick, it's a great time. Let me know in the comments, have you been listening to episodes of our podcast? here on The Kick. We've got some momentum going here with some great guests. Ronnie's asking, who do you have winning the 5K? So this is interesting because I really don't love predicting track races. And I know that's probably a disappointment. And you're like, come on, Will, just make a pick. But as a former competitive high school and collegiate athlete, I always hated when the media would make predictions on who was going to win. It fired me up when they didn't pick me, and then I'd try to go win. But I didn't like it. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, I want to make my predictions, but I don't want to go against what I used to feel as an athlete. So it's going to be tough. I'll say one person I'm very excited to see in the men's 5K tonight is Justin Knight from Canada. He's a guy who I was a big fan of when I was in high school, and he was, just a phenomenal athlete. Running for Syracuse, winning some national titles there. And yeah, Justin Knight is back, and I'm excited to see how he looks out there. He's, I think, coming off of a series of injuries, so we'll see, but it'll be good to have him back. We've got a question in the chat. How have the Terriers been performing today? From what I've seen, quite well. Of course, as a team, you're not always going to have everybody PRing on the same day, but it's been a solid season so far. A lot of dogs are getting PRs, and I'll shout out Glenn Bell. I was watching his race just a little while ago, and he ran a great mile, so shout out to Glenn. But we are about to get this thing really rolling here with the men's 5K coming up here at the BU Valentine Invite. And like I said, we are going to be providing the highest energy in the commentary department. I don't think a lot of people can say that they have a love for BU track as much as I do. So we are going to be getting super hype. And I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We're going to have a great time here. Who are you guys excited to see take the track today? A lot of people in the past few days have been hyping up that 3K between Marco Langen, Gary Martin, and of course a stacked field. I don't know. I like them both. I think Marco is an extremely exciting competitor. He'll probably say that this race doesn't even matter because he's so focused on that NCAA 5K in March. We've just got another comment. Our top commenter today so far is Ronnie. He is excited for Gary versus Marco as well. And he's picking Marco to win. I could see it. Well, wait a second here. I think we've got the men's 5K lining up on the track. And it looks like Marco is on the track. I thought he was running the 3K. Is this a surprise to anybody else? Oh, no, it is the 3K. My apologies. So I thought the 5K was up first. It's the 3K up right now, and the race is off. It is the men's 3K here at the BU Valentine Invite 2026. Yes, Ronnie, the 3K is first, and we are off to the races. We've got Marco Langen in the mix. A lot of guys from BYU, and they're through the first lap in a smooth 28 high. There is a pacer in this race, as most BU races do have. And he is out really fast, creating a gap on the field already. One new innovation here at the BU track that did not exist while I was a student athlete there is they have pace lights now. The famous pace lights. I don't have any feelings about that, although it would have been cool to have them while I was there. I don't know if the runners really are paying attention to the pace lights, though. I think they're more for spectators to see what kind of pace they're on. Ronnie says that the pace lights look sick. They do. Ronnie, are you watching the live stream on, are you watching video of the race and just listening here as well, or are you just listening here? So Ronnie says that his friend Ryan, who's a Stevens athlete, reported that they have the pace lights for every heat. That is really cool that BU is doing that. I don't think many tracks in the world can say that, but hey, it's BU. We do things A little different. Commitment to excellence here. So we are 12 laps to go here in the men's 3K. Things are going to start heating up right now. Marco Langen is in second, which is really first because the guy in front of him is a pacer. Ronnie is listening along and following the live results page. Ronnie, appreciate you tuning in here. Kick alum Ronnie Maleo is locked in. Ronnie says that he cannot afford to watch the live stream of the race. So, like I said, this is the place to be, completely free, and we're going to have a great time engaging with all comments in the live chat. So feel free to drop a comment. Definitely going to reply to you while commentating here. But yeah, this is the place to be if you want to enjoy track and field for free. Marco Langen is leading this race here. You know, I think that if Gary Martin or any of these other guys wants a legitimate chance of winning this race, they are going to have to push the pace. Because Marco Langen, you might not think he has the best kick in the field, but his grit and determination makes him have a strong kick. It's not about speed. Kicking is like, yeah, it's a little bit, maybe 20% about speed. And the other 80% is your grit and determination to get to that line by any means necessary. Marco Langen is leading. It looks like the pacer has stepped off the track at this point. We've got Marco Langen in the lead and a group of 3 men from BYU close behind. We are single file here in the men's 3K at the Boston University Valentine Invite. That's how it goes in these indoor meets. There's not a lot of room. You've kind of got to get into that position on the rail. But when moves happen, you've got to go. And Marco is definitely putting his foot on the gas now. We've got one of the Villanova coaches, Donnie, here is really getting into it on the infield, encouraging Marco to keep winding this thing up. Yeah, Ronnie says it looks like Gary isn't racing. That is a huge disappointment. I haven't seen Gary out there. You know, this was billed as a battle between Marco Langen and Gary Martin. As we know, Marco loves the competition. I can imagine after the race, he might have some words of, you know, wishing that there was a little more competition with Gary. But at the end of the day, he cares about the NCAA championship in March, and that's the title that's going to matter. Marco is winding this thing up still. He's got only 2 people still attached to this lead pack that he is running away with here. Now Marco's got 5 laps to go here. He's clicking away 30-second laps from what I can see. We could confirm that in the chat for anybody following along with the live splits. I think Ronnie has been. Ronnie saying Marco might pay for leading this whole thing. You know, he absolutely could. There's 2 athletes who are sitting right behind him. An athlete from UNC and an athlete from Oregon. You know, these are fantastic programs. You know, I think that's Sands from UNC. And I think that's Palfrey from Oregon. You know, not names that are maybe considered as threats to beating Marco, but names that are definitely considered in that kind of all-American contender group. There's a athlete from BYU, I think that's Tavon Kitchen, who is now closing the gap with that lead pack, and he has joined the lead pack. I think Kitchen is going to take the lead here. Kitchen of BYU, the freshman, is taking the lead, and Marco is not able to go with. Marco is dying. Marco is falling behind now. He's got all the way back to 4th. Kitchen is totally pushing this pace, and Marco cannot go with. but there's still 400 meters to go. Marco hanging in there. Marco's now in third. This is going to be a crazy finish. I don't think Kitchen from BYU really has enough gas in the tank to hold this. With 3 laps to go, he made a ridiculous move. And now it's a battle. Marco moving back up. Marco never going to be out of it. Marco always giving it his all. You can't count out Marco Langen. Marco Langen gonna make a pass on the home stretch. He's into the lead with a lap to go. It's the bell. 200 meters to go here in the 3K at the BU Valentine Invite 2026. Marco Langen taking a commanding lead once again. He led from the gun. A move with 3 laps to go from Kitchen of BYU, the freshman, put him into 4th, but now he is back in the lead. Colton Sands from UNC is close behind here, but Marco Langen going to the home stretch has the lead. It's going to be down to the line. Marco is going to fall at the line. Did he get the win? It is a photo finish here at the BU 2026 Valentine Invite. Marco Langen, as always, gave his absolute all going down to the line. Falls at the line, which he has done many times before, trying to make sure he got the win over UNC's Colton Sands. I think that Langen got it. Falling at the line, that lean is going to give him the edge. Marco is now up off of the floor on his feet, and he looks happy. The smile from Marco says it all. He has won here at the Valentine Invite in what is going to be a classic finish. Marco on the ground, giving his all as always. Young athletes, if you want to see how it's done, watch your Marco Langen film. 7:34.00 for Marco Langen. Beats UNC's Colton Sands by just 0.05 of a second. Sands with a 7:34.05. Marco Langen from New Jersey, now representing Villanova and eyeing an NCAA title in March, asserting his dominance here at the BU Valentine Invite. We are going to have a post-race interview on the broadcast with Marco, and that's going to be so interesting. As we know, Marco always delivers really great content to the media. I don't know if they're going to show it here. They should. They do it for every other athlete who wins the invite events. But yeah, just to recap that race, guys. I mean, Marco Langen leading the majority of the race. And then Kitchen, the freshman from BYU, comes out of nowhere with 3 laps to go, just trying to take it. And for a second, it looked like he could. But I think he was just kicking too early. I mean, Marco, fell back a little bit. But at the end of the day, Kitchen didn't have it. He did fade a lot in that last 400. But credit to Kitchen of BYU. He's been a really bold racer here so far in his freshman year at BYU. Famously, at the cross-country national championships, Kitchen led the race for a good portion. That's very rare to see from a freshman, so hats off to him. He's obviously going to be a consistent presence at the front of races in the NCAA for a long time. But congratulations to Marco Langen of Villanova. Ronnie going crazy in the chat, saying, such a dog, NJ represent. That's right, Ronnie. Marco, right from the same turf that we're from here in Jersey. Jersey's just different, man. It's just different. And that's where that grit, that signature Marco Langen determination, we know it well here being from Jersey. You're going down to the line and you're giving it your absolute all, even if it means that you're going to end up on the ground. It's all worth it to take that win. We've had Marco Langen on the kick in a brief capacity. Spoke with him at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix just a couple weeks ago. And his clip was the most viral clip we've had yet on the kick on Instagram. So check that out. We are now back. They are going to interview Marco. Let's take a listen here. So Marco says that the pacer Only went 1K. I guess he wasn't expecting that. He's really out of breath, as he should be. He gave it his all. Talking about diving to the line to get that win right now. Marco talking about how the other people he's racing against, they just can't compare to his determination. He's racing to get a contract, to put food on the table for his family. As we know, his mom's a lunch lady. He's talking about that right now. Just such a great story. Talking about providing for his younger sister. I mean, just an inspirational story. Marco says he doesn't know anything about anything else other than running. Talk about a guy who's dedicated his life to the sport. Marco talking about March and how he wants that NCAA title. And now the interviewer's asking him about Gary Martin. Marco said his pace was actually to run behind Gary Martin and then probably outkick him, I'm assuming. So his strategy did kind of have to change because he didn't have Gary to run behind. He was leading the race. Marco talking about his survival mentality. And that interview is wrapped up now as we get into the 5K is on the track. Ronnie says, hard to run behind Gary Martin if he's not there. That's true. That's true. Hey, if you're tuning in right now, we've got the men's 5K on the track here at the BU Invite, Valentine Invite, that is. Greatest indoor track meet in the world. Has the record for most sub 4-minute miles in a single meet. Participate in the live chat. Love to hear from you. Say hi, where you're watching from. Appreciate you guys being here. Let me know if the sound's good. Everything looking good, sounding good. We're going to be commentating this men's 5K here and bringing the energy. Records could go down, but most importantly, competition is going to go down. Who is going to win this 5K? Men's 5K is begun. Ronnie says the sound is good here on the live watch party. So, you look at this 5K field. I brought up Justin Knight earlier from Canada, Syracuse, and now he's back. Excited to see him. But there's a lot of guys who have been maybe a little bit more active in competition lately. Excited to see a good race. So they are on the track right now, and there's a lead pack of 3 guys who has separated themselves from the rest of the field. It's pretty early for that to be happening. We'll see if it'll last. The lead man is a pacer. I'm not sure if the second guy is a pacer. Yeah, so the first pacer has already left the track. And now we've got a lead pack of 2 separated from the chase pack. We've got Charles Wheeler in this race. He's definitely a threat. International athlete, I believe, from England. There's a Rowan guy in this field who just transferred from Iowa State. Ronnie's pointing that out in the live chat. Feel free to participate in the live chat. That's super interesting. Rowan is actually a New Jersey school, so we love that. So Wheeler is leading this race now that the Pacers have stepped off. Ronnie pointing out that Rowan is a Division III school. That's true. It'll be interesting to see how high the Rowan athlete can place here in this elite 5K field. Likely the only Division III representative here in this heat of the men's 5K at the Valentine Invite. I think the comment section here in the live chat is pretty funny because it's pretty much just Ronnie. Feel free to get involved and leave a chat about anything, about the races that are going down today at BU, or about, the Kick podcast in general. Have you been listening to the pod? What are your favorite episodes? Who are some athletes you'd like to see on the show? There's not a lot to really break down here at this stage of the race in the 5K. We're 6 minutes in, and Wheeler is kind of just running away with it. I guess what we'd like to root for now is maybe a record here, because it doesn't look like it's going to be a very competitive race for the win. Everybody else racing for second here. Ronnie's saying the Kick is the GOAT podcast. Appreciate that. We're on our way. That chase pack having a little bit of trouble with the rail. It looked like the Alabama athlete tripped, but everybody seemed to stay on their feet. So we are halfway through this 5K here, and things are about to really get, turned up. Wow. Okay, Wheeler now is intentionally slowing down and trying to communicate with second place to try to get him to take the lead. Really surprising here, as Wheeler did have a good solid lead. He must not be feeling like he can lead the whole rest of the way. So now Wheeler is going to drop back into second. Super fascinating. So now there are two athletes who are separated from the chase pack. Wheeler choosing to run behind McGordy here. McGordy going to lead the race now here in the men's 5K at the BU Valentine Invite. Wheeler made a very obvious decision to let McGordy pass him about halfway through the race. Wheeler looks great. I mean, Wheeler looks like he could pass McGordy at any moment. It looks like it's his race to win, but he just needed some help with these middle laps to kind of keep on pace, I guess. And McGordy was happy to take the lead and fulfill that role. Comment, who do you have winning this men's 5K? Is it the obvious favorite, Wheeler, or is it McGordy? Is it somebody else in the field that's going to make a miraculous comeback? There's a huge gap between the top two, McGordy and Wheeler, and everybody else. Jack O'Leary was a guy a lot of people were talking about coming into this race. I don't see him. I think he was relatively far towards the front of the chase pack, but let's see if they'll show them again. They're really just honing in on these top two. Ronnie thinking that Alabama guy who's leading the chase pack could start to reel in the leaders. We'll see. I think I saw O'Leary in about 5th right now. Okay, McGordy is not pushing the pace as much as I think Wheeler expected, and that chase pack is going to start closing the gap here. Guys, BU always delivers excitement, and I think we would be naive to think that it won't here. Ronnie's saying that the live results page says the chase pack is now a second behind, and he is right. Alabama's athlete is going to be closing this gap for real now. This is insane. A gap that seemed insurmountable for the longest time. Everybody is getting back into this race now. McGordy running almost tactically here to allow for everybody to get back into this race. This is unbelievable. And now it's Dismissed Lokira from Alabama taking the lead. Wheeler is just out of it. I mean, he's dropping into third, maybe fourth. The Alabama coach is going crazy on the infield as his athlete has just taken the lead here. I mean, we've got Doris in the 5K tomorrow, right, for Alabama? So, my goodness. They could sweep here with the Valentine 5Ks. Looks like a Yuga Endo from Japan is starting to move up as well. He's in third. Wheeler is just losing track right now. And McGordy is hanging on to the leader. The Alabama athlete who I don't think a lot of people saw coming. Wheeler is dropping. Alabama's head coach is going crazy on the infield. Everybody in that chase pack looks very excited that they're back in this race now. You know, gaps can look very big on the indoor oval. It's only a 200-meter track. But, you know, like Ronnie has been mentioning in the comments, even just being a second behind can look like pretty far behind, but they're really not too far back. Is everybody in the live chat having a good time? Just watching some track and field. The first ever live stream for the kick. We're having fun with it. We're learning. You know, we're figuring it out. We're having a great time. And we're watching some of the best athletes in the world take on the BU Valentine Invite. Lokira is still leading this thing, but he's got 5 athletes chasing behind. We'll see. I think this race is going to come down to a kick. 1 lap to go. Here we go. Clock says 12:54. This isn't one of the faster 5Ks at the BU Valentine Invite, but it's still fast. We'll see who's got the kick here. Lokira hanging on for dear life here. Can anybody catch Lokira? Princeton trying to make a pass here. Will Lokira hold on? Lokira coming down to the line. It's going to be close. And Lokira of Alabama holds on to the win here at the BU 5K Valentine Invite. Wow. Dismissed Lokira of Alabama making a statement. Roll Tide. Everybody talking about Doris on the women's side, and rightfully so, one of the greatest athletes the NCAA has ever seen. But Dismissed Lokira showing up here and saying, hey, look, I'm a contender too. Ronnie says, I should start predicting more track races. He did earlier say that he thinks Lokira can make the move necessary to win this thing, and he did. Dismiss Lokira. Just an incredible development of this race. 2 athletes just running away with it, making it look like the chase pack was all racing for third. but it was Dismas Lokira who makes a big push with just a few laps to go, holds on. There was a Princeton athlete who really made a hard push to try to catch Lokira at the end. And they're going to go to Dismas Lokira now, interviewing him. I do not believe that English is his first language, but I think he will happily chat a little bit about how he's feeling. Congrats to Dismas Lokira of Alabama. Incredible effort. Never counted himself out. And a big kick to hold on and win the men's 5K. Dismas talking about how proud he is, but saying he's very humble as well. Do we think Dismas Lokira will play a big role in the NCAA championships come March? We'll see. So that's going to wrap us up for day one of the Valentine Invite as far as the elite section here. It's a new format at the BU meets. While I was there, it wasn't that way where they would have, the fastest heat of the mile or the 800 mile, 3K, 5K, all back to back to back to back. But a pretty cool way of doing it. It's like a prime time segment of the best or fastest races of the day, presumably. Tomorrow, the women will be taking the track. Let me know if you think the kick should go live for the women tomorrow. A lot of great races coming tomorrow. We've got a comment asking if there was a push in the 3K. I don't believe there was a push in the 3K. I was honed in on watching Marco Langen, who was leading, and he fell at the line, but I think that was due to his own momentum and lean. He does often fall at the line, just trying to do everything he can to get his body across that finish line. But I don't think there was like a physical push. Ronnie says Christian Noble also raced today in the mile. He sure did. I don't think it was his best day, but you know what? He's coming off of an Achilles injury, and he's back racing, and that's the most important thing. Excited to see where he goes from here. If you want to learn more about Christian Noble's story, we have a phenomenal podcast. I think it was the first podcast that we had on the kick that went over an hour, just because he had so much great insight as a professional athlete for New Balance and arguably the greatest Division II runner of all time, distance runner of all time. So, yeah, the 3K was maybe the race of the day here. Marco Langen taking the win. Gary didn't race today. I think that would have definitely made things a little more interesting had he been in the race, but still a great race. Kitchen of BYU definitely made things interesting with 600 to go. He made a very strong move. I think he just said, you know what, that's my race plan at 600 to go. I'm just going to go all out and see if I can drop everybody. He went all out, but he didn't have enough to hold it then for the final 400 meters. Marco slid right back up into first and just held on for the win. Fell at the line to make sure he got it over second place. I'm sure everybody will be watching and seeing pictures of that iconic finish now for a long time. But it's all part of the Villanova athletes build to the NCAA championship in March. Let me know in the comments, do you think Marco Langen is going to win the NCAA title that he's eyeing? I think he's actually eyeing 2 NCAA titles. Would like to win the 3K and 5K in March. That'll be a tough double to pull off. I'd like to see him win at least something. I think he definitely deserves an NCAA title on his resume. And just seeing how much he cares about that. He does not care about the times. He does not care about the invites. He cares about championship racing. So there are still some more races going down here at BU. We won't be commentating all of them, but we definitely could make a return tomorrow for the women's meet at the BU Valentine Invite. A lot of great competitors going to be mixing it up there. We're going to wrap things up at 5 p.m. here on the Kick. So if you've got anything you want to share, any questions you have, please leave a comment in the live chat and I will happily chat it up. Really appreciate anyone who tuned in for any amount of time here on the Kick. This is the first ever live stream for the Kick, a Runner's podcast. I thought there was no better time to hop on here than my alma mater's biggest invite of the year. Like I said, we're going to wrap things up in just about 6 minutes. So if there's anything anybody would like to talk about, ask about, I'd love to engage with the Kick listeners. Let me know if you've listened to any episodes of the Kick. If you have you enjoyed them? What were your favorite episodes? And please feel free to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, here on YouTube, wherever you listen to the Kick. But those 5-star ratings go a very long way on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Share the Kick with a friend. We talk running. It's pretty simple. If you like running, I think you'll get something out of this podcast. We've had some great guests from all levels of the sport. Looking forward to having more. Are there any guests that you think we should have on the show? Let me know and we'll see if we can make it happen. So we've got some heats of the 3K going now. They're not the elite heat, but they are elite in their own right. We've got 11 heats of 3Ks remaining here. We've got pace lights at BU now. Pretty cool. Who are your picks for tomorrow in the women's races? You know what? There is something to follow here in this first heat of the Open 3K. The leader of Wisconsin has made a huge gap on the field. And I believe he's an international athlete. He could set a national record for his country. He could be the first Israeli below 750. And he's going to get the Israeli record here. 743 for the Wisconsin athlete. Matan Ivory, everybody. You thought the elite racing was done? Not at BU. Heat after heat after heat, you're going to have impressive performances. Matan Ivory of Wisconsin sets his national record in the 3K, 743. All right, we are going to wrap things up here shortly here on the Kick. The elite racing window has come to an end for the men's Valentine Invite. You know what? I say we do one more race. Because as I'm watching right now, I'm seeing some former teammates of mine take the track. Some BU Terriers for this heat of the 3K. And we are going to give it our all here for these guys. Former teammates of mine, Freddie Collins and Daniel Hruska, are taking the line here at their home track. And they're going to mix it up here in the men's 3K. This will be the last race we commentate here today. Freddie and Dan are out towards the front. And it looks like Christian Noble, a Kick alum, my former coach and New Balance professional athlete, is going to pace this thing. Or you know what? No, he isn't. He was listed as the pacer, but I don't see him out there pacing. I hope he's feeling all right. Coming off of an Achilles injury, did not run very close to his PR in the mile a day. Hope he is still healthy and everything is all right. But we've got Freddie Collins and Dan Ruska here in 4th and 5th in this heat of the 3K. Two of the top dogs at BU right now, former teammates of mine. Great guys. Great to see them out here on our home track. Let me know in the live chat. Is there anybody in particular that you're rooting for who is currently racing at the BU Valentine Invite? For me personally, I've got to side with my Terriers. We've got a pair of them here in this heat of the 3K, section 2 of 11. Freddie Collins and Dan Ruska. What are your predictions for how fast will this heat of the 3K be won? What will the winning time be? I think we've got a good shot at sub 8 minutes. Maybe multiple runners will dip under the 8-minute barrier here. I think there's actually a good chance of that. Have you ever raced at the BU indoor track? If not, do you wish you did? Do you wish you still will? It's the fastest track in the world. It's only getting faster now. They've installed pace lights, which is new to me. They did not have them while I was there. Ronnie says he has raced there, and I was there when Ronnie did race. It is the fastest track in the world. Ronnie, are you watching, or you're still tuned in, right? We're watching the second heat of the men's 3K here. Ronnie says we were almost in the same heat at BU. It's true. We almost were. We were thinking we would be, but we did get to watch each other race at BU. I don't think it was my best race. I think that was the race that I fell at the start and they had to call it back. Yikes. It's only happened once and hopefully never again, knock on wood. Freddie Collins is in 3rd place here in this heat. He's coming off of a school record in the 5K, so he's doing great. Ronnie says I ran 4:17. I have run 4:17 in the mile. I don't think it was that day, though, was it? Did you watch me run 4:17? I don't think so. I know I ran 4:17 at Patriot Leagues, which is one of my favorite races ever. It was hosted at BU. Oh, Ronnie says, no, it was when you were with Jake Almer. I did race with Stevens athlete Jake Almer. I think I ran 4:18, yeah. That was a great race. That was fun. I remember being stuck behind some guys at the end, though, having a little bit more in the tank and not being able to make a move. It happens. Indoor track, it can get quite crowded. All right, we're coming up on a mile here. Looks like Freddie's going to split around 4:10. Freddie's in 3rd. Dan Ruska in about 7th, it looks like. Still looking strong. These are two absolute dogs. Freddie Collins and Dan Ruska, let me tell you. Never count them out. Ronnie pointing out that Rodolfo Sanchez is in this, doubling back from the mile earlier today. Impressive double. We both know Rodolfo from our days at the Northeast Kingdom Running Camp in Lyndonville, Vermont. We've had some chats about that very running camp here on The Kick. The Emmeline Theriault episode, we delved into it as she was also somebody who attended NKRC. And we've got a reel on the Kick Instagram page talking about what an incredible running camp NKRC is. But let's get back to this 3K race here. Freddie Collins and Dan Ruska representing the arch Boston on the chest. 2 BU Terriers at the front, near the front of this race here in the 3K, both looking to set PRs and maybe snag a win. The coveted heat win at BU, something that was a goal for me for a long time. I finally got it in my 5th year of eligibility at BU. Won a heat of the mile at BU. Very fun, very exciting. Freddie Collins is now in 4th, still looking strong. Dan Fruska close behind in 7th. Freddie going to make a pass here on the outside. He's up into 3rd. Ronnie commenting, Loggia running for the hometown Terriers. That's true. That was the call the commentator made when I won a heat at BU. And you might see that in the kick intro for all of our podcasts. That might be worked into it. Ronnie says, actually, Rodolfo might have been pacing because he dropped out. He might have been. Freddie Collins going to move into the lead here. Freddie Collins making a pass, and he is going to be the new leader of this men's 3K heat here at the BU Valentine Invite. Freddie Collins with 400 to go is in the lead here, and he's got a great kick, let me tell you. Freddie kicking hard, doesn't want anybody to even have a remote chance of passing him back. And you know who's moving up behind him? It's Dan Ruska up into 5th. Freddie Collins running away with this men's 3K heat at BU, representing the hometown Terriers. He is creating a gap here. Bell lap for Freddie Collins, leading heat 2 of the men's 3K here at the BU Valentine Invite. Freddie heading into the bell lap, he is flying. Talk about a kick. I mean, he is giving nobody in this field even a chance at catching him. Freddie Collins with 7:40 on the clock going into the final 100 meters. And he is only picking up the pace here. Here comes Freddie Collins. Down to the line. 7:50 for Freddie. And Dan Ruska close behind. He'll run 7:54. It looks like it's going to be officially 7:49 for Freddie Collins. And his hands go up. Victorious here. Freddie, congratulations. What a race for the Terriers. Both Freddie Collins and Dan Ruska. 7:49 for Freddie Collins in the men's 3K. What a phenomenal race from Freddie Collins. Just gets under 7:50 with a 7:49.9. I think this might be a school record. I'm going to stay on here to verify if Freddie just set the school record for the men's 3K. I mean, 7:49 is just blazing fast. Oh my goodness, just when I was thinking we might tune out here on the kick, there is a very interesting storyline developing. And it's official. New BU school record for Freddie Collins. 7:49.9. Talk about a dog. Talk about a kick. Freddie Collins takes the lead with about 400 to go. Holds on, and then at that bell lap just absolutely takes flight, giving nobody a chance of answering his kick. So this next heat of the 3K, as Ronnie's going to point out, it includes Avery Keith, our old high school teammate. We actually were never on the team with him, but he went to the same high school as both Ronnie and I. He's younger, but he's now representing Princeton, and he's doing phenomenal. Ronnie pointing out that Anthony Fasthorse ran 8 flat, .00. That's tough. I know Ben Fleischer. Ben, are you in this live watch party? I know you can relate to the 8 flat. Wishing that you could dip under that 8-minute barrier in the 3K. Ronnie pointing out that the D3 cross-country champion, reigning champion, is in this heat of the 3K. So there's a lot of reasons to stay locked in here. So we'll stick around for another heat here with live commentary right here on the kick of the BU men's Valentine Invite. I didn't think we'd be going this long, so my lighting setup was not ready for the sun to set. I'm going to get us some better lighting here. So if you'll just give me 1 second, I'm going to get some new lighting in here. I will be right back. And we've got Heat 3 of the men's 3K underway here. Avery Keith, graduate of Westfield High School and current Princeton Tiger. Emmanuel LeBlanc, that would be really cool for him if he could win this heat. A lot of great competition here, but he's used to winning in Division III, reigning champ of the cross-country season. That usually translates pretty well to the 3K distance. Ronnie, who are you rooting for to take the win in this heat? Is it Westfield grad Avery Keith, or is it NCAA Division III champion in cross country Emmanuel LeBlanc, representing Johns Hopkins? Ronnie says Avery for sure. I agree. I've got to root for Avery, and Avery looks good here. Avery Keith is now in 5th place here, just a few laps into this men's 3K. Ronnie predicting Avery will go sub 8 minutes in the 3K. Will it happen? How incredible would that be? And he is actually going to move up here, I think. He's got a teammate, a fellow Princeton Tiger in this race, who I'm getting a little bit mixed up between the two, but it looks like Avery's in about 7th. He's running in lane 2, so you want to get into lane 1 and get on that rail if you can when you're running at the BU track and indoor track in general. Avery is kind of running a lot of extra distance right now, being in lane 2. Hopefully he can get some better positioning soon. He's now out into lane 3. Come on, Avery, you got to get inside here. And he does. Avery passes 2 athletes and immediately gets onto the rail. Well done, well done. Texas athlete going to step off the track. Looks like he was a pacer. Avery Keith is now in a great spot here in 7th place. The Westfield graduate and current Princeton Tiger, and he's outside again trying to make a pass. I don't think he likes being in the middle of the pack. I think he likes being a little bit more close to the front. He is going to pass another guy here and get back on that rail. Well done, Avery. Now let's see if we can lock into a rhythm here and not have as many moves. Every move you make, especially in indoor track, it takes a lot of energy. So you want to conserve yourself. Make moves when the time is right. Make them very assertively because you only have a few moves. Everybody's fit. Everybody in this heat has a very similar PR. So it's those little decisions and tactics that can make the difference. Avery Keith making another pass. I mean, it's exciting to watch, I'll tell you that. He has been actively stepping out into lane 2, making a pass, slotting back in on the rail. He's now in 5th place. Avery looking really strong. So we've got another heat of the men's 3K here. Spotlight athlete is, of course, Avery Keith of Princeton University. We're going to be following along with Avery, so if that's not interesting to you, I'm sorry. If you're just tuning in, we've seen some great races today. We saw Marco Langen win a photo finish 3K where he fell at the line. We saw Freddie Collins set the school record for BU in the men's 3K, running 7:49.9. We've got a Navy midshipman leading this one. Former rival team of mine, with BU being in the same conference, the Patriot League with Navy. Those Navy athletes are quite good, let me tell you. Tough team to beat. So we've got Avery Keith in 4th now. Things are really heating up. Got about 300 meters to go. Let's see how Avery's kick will look. Avery Keith in 4th with a lot of guys rallying behind him. And here's the bell. Avery Keith entering the bell lap of the men's 3K. He's got a chance of sub-8 here. He's a Westfield High School graduate, current Princeton Tiger. This heat will be won by a Navy athlete, but Avery Keith is coming onto the home stretch now. Will he break 8? It's going to be so close, and it looks like he's just going to miss it. But a phenomenal race by Avery Keith, putting himself in the mix. He expended a lot of energy stepping out into lane 2, trying to make passes. He advanced through the race, but it was a lot of in and out movement. I don't know if that's what cost him that second, but it looks like his official time is going to be 8:01. Or is it 8 flat? Wow, it might be 8 flat high. I mean, if you want to hear about that, just talk to Ben Fleischer. He knows all about being just a second away from sub-8 in the 3K. Fortunately for Avery, he's got some more years left in the NCAA to make that happen. Hopefully he can be very happy with this result because it was a strong, strong race. BU has to watch out for this Navy guy who just won that heat. Well, congrats to all the athletes who have raced thus far at the BU 2026 Valentine Invite, and good luck to the rest who are remaining. We're going to wrap up here on the first ever live stream on the Kick. Some great results today, some great performances. Had a blast commentating, and I hope you enjoyed tuning in for even just a little while, leaving some comments. Want to shout out our top commenter of the day, Ronnie Maleo. He was the king of the live chat, and I think there's a good chance we'll be back here tomorrow on YouTube, going live for the Women's Day of the Valentine Invitational. Learned a lot already today and just going live for the first time, so I think tomorrow could be something special. Ronnie says this was awesome. Appreciate you, Ronnie. Appreciate everybody who tuned in, and that's going to be all we have for you today here on The Kick. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, I'm Will Loggia. I love running, and I love a good kick. Tune in to The Kick podcast wherever you listen to podcasts or here on YouTube. You're in for a treat. Thanks, everybody.